is Saskatchewan River Voyagers?
We do canoe trips down the North Saskatchewan River.
And how far down the North Saskatchewan do you go?
How far do you want to go?
Now there's an answer I like. So what kind of do they do? Just like an hour float? Do they do the whole day? Can you do weeks with them? How does this all work?
We go from 4 hours up to, I've gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, I went with a canoeing club from Saskatoon, from Edmonton to Saskatoon. It took 2 weeks.
That must have been a heck of a trip.
Well, my canoes are really big. You can get up and walk around, and they're 30 footers, 6 feet wide in the middle, so they're very stable.
And you can pack a lot of stuff in them.
Oh, a huge amount.
So tell me, what would 2 weeks on a canoe look like?
A very sore butt.
Now, I'm thinking more like, do you barbecue for breakfast? How do you handle meals? What do you do when you're on the water?
Well, we camp mostly on sandbars, and we turn the canoe up so the ladies have some place to go to the bathroom behind it.
Right.
And usually we have smaller canoes with us. Now, the time we went to Saskatoon, we used 2 large canoes.
So how many people does a canoe hold?
We can hold 9 plus the captain, I guess you'd call him.
And then all the food and gear that you need to go
Yeah,
down the river.
exactly.
That's incredible. I've never, considered that. So are you truly doing things like the old voyageurs do? Do you do portaging? How does that work?
There's nothing to portage here on the North Saskatchewan.
Okay.
But there's some big rapids.
Are there?
Yeah, well, we went through some when we were at Run for the Hills. We went from Desjardins down to Duvernay, and there was 3 sets of rapids in there.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, the Desjardins rapids are big. They're several 100 yards through them. But there's cones in the river that tell you where to take a line on the rapids.
Huh.
And so we just do that. The river is marked.
Isn't that fascinating? I would never have guessed.
The Athabasca is really marked.
Yeah?
You really have to know what you're doing on the Athabasca. The Athabasca's got some huge rapids, Imperial Rapids and the Pelican Rapids, and rapids like that are miles long.
Right.
And drop several 100 feet.
Oh my Lord, that would be absolutely fascinating to be part of that.
Oh yeah, and the part that amazed me is I see pictures of men look basically like rowboats, but they were hauling freight. So the boat was about 40 feet long. It was called a river boat, and the guy stood in the middle, not unlike the guys on the rafts in the Fraser, where they basically stand in the middle of the canoe or the raft with really long paddles.
Yeah.
I use a really long paddle only because I'm very experienced. Everybody else stays with a shorter paddle.
Right. Yeah, because you have to make sure you've always got a hold of that end of that paddle and that you aren't letting it go in anybody's face, right?
Exactly, and so most paddles are 5 feet. Mine is 8.
And that helps you navigate through the
Well,
river
it's
better.
kind of like a rudder.
Right.
I'm at the back. I don't take the front.
Right. So how long have you been commanding canoes?
Oh, 40 years.
And what made you decide that doing this as a business on the North Saskatchewan was a smart thing?
I would go out looking for gemstones and driftwood and gold in the river. And Richard here said, take somebody with you. So that's where it all started.
Well, that's an interesting way for a small business to get started. It was just that you hadn't made it a business, you were doing it for yourself.
Yeah, and handling a 30-foot canoe by yourself is difficult.
I can only imagine.
No matter how good you think you are.
I can only...